This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
Saloni Suri is here, and she is a communications expert, a communications coach. And over the next hour, we're going to talk about what can make you a better communicator. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Hrishikesh. How are you?
Excellent. So I know you've been in communications for the larger part of 2 decades and more.
Absolutely.
When did you decide that you've acquired enough skills to be able to impart education to people to help them grow? Talk to me about that.
So I think my journey started in 1998, and that's when I first attended a Jose Silva mental training workshop. And during that workshop, I realized that there was something the speaker said, which was to the effect that if you continue to do the same things again and again, you will get the same results. If you need to change the outcome of your life, you need to change your mental programming. And I moved along from country to country along with my husband. And during all those times, I realized that I wanted to be good at what I did. And I'm from the Delhi School of Economics, did my master's and my MPhil from there, and went on to doing different careers in different parts of the world, but were all related to communications. I was a journalist, I was a public relations professional, and during those times I was continuously working with people. And my journey of understanding how our mental programs control our life also continued as a passion. And in 2017, last year, early, I decided it was time to give back. And my passions and my professional expertise all came together, and that's when the coach was launched, and I started my little website. I'd always been doing trainings with people, so there were corporate trainings, and the coach inside of me, I think, was really out there, and I knew it was time for me to be able to empower lives of people and help them to live the life of their dreams, unlock their potential, and everything is from the inside to the outside. So in this workshop that I'm doing, it's really my time to be able to impart them with 10 techniques which I feel they can use in their lives, and 10 mental laws which are very important for us to understand to be able to move ahead towards happiness and fulfillment. And I've developed interesting techniques about interesting formulas that are easy for people to remember, which they can actually use in their everyday lives. And it's an interesting 2-day workshop.
Okay, now we're live on Mumbai radio sets on 94.3 Radio 1 on the FM band. We're streaming audio live across the nation on www.onecast.in, that's numeral 1cast.in. And statutory warning, if you're not driving, only if you're not driving, if you're in the backseat of a radio taxi, or you're being chauffeur-driven, or you're at home or at office, then we're streaming video live on facebook.com/radio1.mum, radio1.mum. Okay. Just give out the website, the coach website, and where people can register for this workshop and the dates of them.
You can register on my Facebook page at The Coach, or you can go to my website, thecoach.co.in. The dates of the workshop are 24th and 25th of February at the Hotel Marine Plaza. It's the coming weekend. Very few seats are left. So
go get cracking. The Chainsmokers Closer. I'm Hrishikesh. We're at 11 minutes past 9 a.m. live with Saloni Suri. The Chainsmokers Closer at 15 minutes past 9 a.m. streaming live audio on www.onecast.in. That's numeral 1cast.in across the nation on your radio sets on 94.3 on the FM band. And of course, only if you're not driving, streaming live now on Facebook at HRISHIKOI. That's facebook.com/HRISHIKOI. Yes, Saloni Suri. She is a communications expert, and she calls herself The Coach, enhancing skills. It's www.thecoach.co.in. It's a wonderful workshop, a couple of days, and more conversation.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So, I have this interesting toolkit in front of me, which is what you use you obviously can't give away everything because, people have to come in and do that workshop and get into the intricacies of it. But my belief is if you give a bit of a trailer, a bit of a promo,
Sure.
a little bit of stuff to come, that might actually get people and get you bums on seats. So, what's so unique about this, and what took you so long to build the toolkit, Saloni?
So I think it's a lot to do with the mental exercise and physical exercise. So when one goes to do physical exercise, you might be running, you might be going to Zumba, you might be going to Pilates, and you understand that you need to do that kind of exercise to build that particular muscle. In the same way, you need to do mental exercises to be able to build your mental muscle to help you to live the life that you are meant to live. And all of this actually became more and more. I used it in my life over the last 20 years, but it was to help me. And my mentors like Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield, Zig Ziglar, they all came along at different points of time. And so did Napoleon Hill, who's written the best self-development book called Think and Grow Rich of all times. And while I'm studying all of this, I'm also applying the techniques that I'm pulling together from these different people. And so the toolkit that I've actually developed says that every person's mind is different. What works for me will not necessarily work for you. You might like Pilates. You might be a marathon runner. That works for you. So what I've really done is I've put together 10 skills, 10 techniques that I have used in my own life to help me. And I have also used this in a very subtle manner with my coaching clients. And I'm also a lecturer at Xavier's Institute of Communications, at ISME and at ISTWPP. So I work a lot with young adults. And while I'm doing my business communication module with them, my master classes with them, I was also using a few of these techniques and just seeing how it is that they are reacting to it. And I noticed over the last few years that the response that I get from them is amazing. And that's when I decided, okay, fine, let me put this all together and let me introduce these skills to the people and these techniques, because I don't know what will work for individual. Everybody's mind is different. Everybody's wiring is different. And over the last 10 decades, the amount of understanding that we have of the way our mind works is absolutely astounding. Neuroscientists all over the world have been working very, very extensively on neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity tells us that the ability of our brain to develop new connections, new habits is now a never-ending process. We earlier believed that our brain would stop developing after a certain amount of time, by 10 or 12. But new research is actually extremely insightful, and that further encouraged me to say that, guys, if you are going to be doing the same things again and again, you are going to get different responses. You're going to get the same responses. So the minute your ability to change your thought pattern, the minute your self-awareness develops and you become more engaged with the way you are thinking, is when you're able to control your communications. And 85% of our success is dependent on our ability to communicate with other people.
There is, however, a certain merit to doing the same things again and again if you set those practices correctly. I'll give you a classic example. When kids walk through the door and they want to do breakfast radio or daily evening radio, I always tell them you have to bat like Rahul Dravid. I don't know if you understand cricket enough, but
I do.
Batting like Rahul Dravid means doing the same things day after day after day, because there are some merits of batting like Virender Sehwag, which is hitting the fours and the sixes and this and that. But daily radio is coming in and doing the same things again and again and again with newer people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is, even when you have to create new habits for people, you get them into a routine.
Yes.
A routine is something you're not against.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But to be able to change your outcomes, and so an event plus response gives you the outcome. E plus R is equal to O. And there's another very simple formula which I've developed, which is called it plus at. plus your attitude, which is we all have inherent talents. We then have acquired talents, which are the skills that we use in our workplace and within our social networks. And both of them make you the complete person. The minute you mix in a dose of the right attitude, your success and your happiness is guaranteed. And I think these are simple techniques that you need to use in your life. And even the way you respond to people, the way you react to people are both different things. The minute you stay in control, the minute you are more aware of how you are feeling, your ability to communicate with the other person across the board obviously becomes a little stronger. And we have this concept of paradigms, which Bob Proctor speaks about very carefully. And he says that paradigms are patterns, are thought patterns which have been installed in our DNA. It's a program in your mind which was installed by your parents, by your environment, and you do have the ability to change it because you do not allow your fears to become real for you. And to become an effective communicator, you need self-confidence, and that self-confidence comes from your belief in your ability to move ahead. And that's when you don't allow your self-limiting beliefs to become so real for you, and you are then able to move ahead slowly.
You have any questions or comments? This is the time to do it, because you're not going to hear us for about 10 minutes because I'm going to play a song and then go into some messages and then come back. So it's one space your comment or one space your question and name to 53650. 53650 is the in-studio SMS line. On Twitter as well as Facebook, you go to the search bar, you type HRISHIKAY, will pop up. You could tweet out with your name. You post on the timeline inbox on Facebook along with your name, and facebook.com/radio1.mum, our official page. Saloni Suri is here. We're talking communications and leadership skills. www.thecoach.co.in is what you need to check out. Here's Michael Cimbello, Maniac, from the Flashdance original motion picture soundtrack, and post us some messages. I'm Hrishikesh. I tell you this, for a nostalgia trip, Ray Parker Jr. still goes and plays at Disneyland. I saw a video of him playing at Disneyland and Ghostbusters. So, parents with their kids enjoying themselves to Ghostbusters. 9:34. Help Yourself, Enhance Your Communication Skills is a workshop by Saloni Suri, aka The Coach. She's in studio. We're streaming video live only if you're not driving on Twitter and Periscope at HRISHIKAY. We've also tagged Saloni's Twitter handle, and streaming live audio on www.onecast.in and numeral1cast.in across the nation, and on your radio sets in Mumbai on 94.3. More chat.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
You wanted to cite some examples of how this whole thing works, and get into those examples, please.
Sure. So I think the first example of why we need to continuously pay attention to upgrading our brains and our minds has been explained very simply by James Allen. He wrote this book called As a Man Thinketh in the year in 1900s, where he said that our mind is actually like a garden, and we are the gardeners, and we can choose whatever we wish to plant. If we like roses, we can put roses, we can put lilies, we can put Rajnigandhas, and we want a nice meadow, we can have a meadow out there. But at all points of time, there are going to be weeds in the garden, and it becomes our responsibility to, at different points, to help to take out the weeds, because if you don't, then the jungle grows wild. When the jungle goes wild, it loses control. And so the whole point actually is for us to take responsibility of our lives. The minute we take responsibility, we become in control. When we are in control, our ability to manage and control and respond effectively and communicate with a certain amount of confidence with the people in our offices, people in our social networks, our work profiles, our parents, our siblings, all of this comes together, and it gives us a huge amount of, I think, confidence to be able to put forth our ideas in a convincing manner. Whether you're in a startup, everybody is in sales, Hrishikesh. Either we are selling ourselves, we are selling a product, or we are selling a service. And at all points of time, we need to be able to talk to people and help to ensure that the messages that are going from point A to point B are going through with clarity. And that clarity in decision making, in communication, comes when there is clarity within in your mind and in your thoughts. When both come together, the point goes across very, very clearly. And there is also a reality which says that our ability to hear is much, much higher. It's close to about 1,000 words a minute. The way we speak is about 150 words a minute. What's happening in between? In between are our thoughts. So our thoughts play absolute chaos in our mind. And listening to people, listening is a very, very important technique. And I think I teach very interesting ways in which you can look at the 7 good habits of listening. And the people who are good listeners are also very good communicators because they have given time to understand what the person is saying. They have also understood the person in a manner in which they're able to paraphrase and give the person back the information. Asking a question for clarification also only happens when you're paying attention to that person. If you begin to prejudge him, if you begin to already formulate a reply in your mind before you can actually even give that person a proper hear-through, it becomes a problem. Even when a boss is perhaps trying to explain a new project to his teammates, a teammate, or might be already thinking in his mind, hey, I can't do this. And this is coming from a place of a fear of rejection, a fear of failure, the fear of criticism. And all of these have been ingrained in our minds, in our DNAs. And these are all learned. All our fears are learned. When a child is born, he is not born with fears. So all the techniques that I'm speaking about actually help to tap into the subconscious mind. Because the minute you're able to learn how to do that, you are fearless. And when you just don't stop, you become unstoppable.
So you're saying you don't have to necessarily do what hypnotists do, which is use hypnotherapy to reach the subconscious mind. You can do it, being completely aware and things like that. Up ahead, I want to pick her brains on reacting versus responding. And of course, there's a very interesting formula. She's given a few formulae to me. One, of course, she said on the show, which is event plus response is equal to outcome. And the other is inborn talent plus acquired talent and attitude into attitude. Inborn talent plus acquired talent into attitude is equal to success or happiness. So we're going to explore one other formula which she believes in, which I find pretty exciting. So we're going to take Rudimental along with Jess Glynn Macklemore these days. And back with Saloni Suri, I'm Hrishikesh.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
Saloni Suri is here. She's an executive leadership guru, life coach, communication skills expert. And she's here talking about enhancing not just your communication skills, but your overall personality. Amit Govind on Twitter. My good friend Salo Palo, which is her Twitter handle, is now talking to Hrishikesh on enhancing your communication skills. Tune in now if you haven't already. Thank you. And we've got a few questions. Career Sprouts says, with social media changing the way we communicate, what has one to learn to be relevant and effective? And Career Sprouts, his real name is Solomon. With social media changing the way we communicate, what has one to learn to be relevant and effective? Saloni.
Yes. So I think one thing that social media has done is that it has increased our ability to connect with people with our thoughts all over the world. But one thing that is missing here is the personal touch. And whenever one finds a person or two individuals in a conflict situation, we tend to revert to social media to help solve our issues. And I do believe that face-to-face communication is one of the most effective ways in which we can connect emotionally with another person. And social media, whether it is Insta, WhatsApp, all of these can never, ever replace a person's human touch. A hug is a hug. The tone of the voice, the body language can all only be experienced when you are in a face-to-face conversation with a person. Technology can never, ever replace that.
Tanmay Srivastav, great show. One can deal with one's own security, but how does one deal with the insecurity of seniors leading to unpleasant relationships? all of us have insecure bosses at some level, don't we? Especially flamboyant people. Yeah?
Okay. So you can never control another person. You cannot influence his thoughts or what he's going to say to you at any point of time. However, what you can control and what is in your control is your thoughts, is your own self and your own mind. I've had examples where I have worked with senior people where whether it was their investor or whether it was their colleagues and or their bosses, in fact, and they've had difficult situations. The minute you yourself are able to create a perception in your mind of your boss being slightly more understanding, more gentler, and receptive to hearing what you have to say to him, automatically you will see his demeanor changing towards you. You have absolutely no control over the way anybody else is going to think about you at any point of time. The only thing that is in control is your own self, and that is a power that you have. If you
One second, sorry, let me interrupt you. You're turning around and saying that even if he or she, your senior or your boss, is an obnoxious person, you still mentally tune yourself to thinking that he or she is compassionate and conduct your dealings in that way. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. If you are so upset about it and if it means finding yourself in a situation where you just cannot get out of it, then why have you created it in the first place? Take responsibility of it. If you don't like it, leave. If you don't feel that you can make yourself relevant in your organization, then it's time for you to do other things. However, if you love your job, you're sure about what you're doing, then you have to find ways within yourself to find a space in which you can coexist with your team, with your boss, with your colleagues, with your home, and with everything else that you do. You have to take responsibility of the life that you have created outside. What is inside is outside. That's the law of the universe. And physical laws are also like that. What goes up will fall down. Newton discovered it. That's the law of gravity. And it exists like that. And the mental laws are also very, very real.
Okay, we're streaming live video on Instagram only if you're not driving at HRISHIKAY. Audio is still live and online across the nation on www.onecast.in, that's numeral 1cast.in, and of course live on your radio sets on 94.3 Radio 1 on the FM band. I wanted to ask you about that one formula, which is called 1OCZ, one activity outside your comfort zone. That's quite exciting. Tell me about that.
Okay, so when we stay inside our comfort zone, we continue to do things that we are familiar with. So to give you an example, which a question on which was asked a little earlier, was when you are in an office and when you're in a working atmosphere and your boss asks you to do something different or you yourself want to do something different, the brain is devised in a manner in which it resists change. So the first reaction that you're actually going to have, the first response that you're going to actually give in that situation is going to be, I can't do it, or I can do it. How am I going to do it? And whose help do I need? What is the technical skill that I need to actually do it? And the minute you're able to put all of those together is when you will get that energy to move forward. However, if you feel feelings of fear, doubt, worry, they will all take you a step back and you begin to start procrastinating. And procrastination, blameology, and excuseology. These are the three things that I feel that people absolutely love it. They just love being in that place where whatever is happening to me is somebody else's fault. It is either my parents' fault, it is the economy, it is the fault of my bosses, my colleagues, my parents, my children, my siblings. Everybody else is to blame for everything that's happening in my life. We play it all the time.
Yep.
So...
Okay, last leg of conversation up ahead after some messages and a song. So you've got about less than 10 minutes to react. One space, your comment and name to 53650. You have a question, I'll bring it up on SMS. You can ask me on SMS and I'll bring it up on the show. Go to the search bar, type HRISHIKAY on Twitter and Facebook and I'll pop up. You could tweet or you post on the timeline inbox along with your name and facebook.com/radio1.mum. Our official page. There again, drop a comment or a question on the timeline or inbox and I'll bring it up. Saloni Suri will be back for one last leg of conversation. It's messages and back at 9:50. My name is Hrishikesh.
94.3 Radio 1.
Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Go My Way? Saloni Suri, executive life coach, leadership skills expert, communication expert in studio. Last leg of conversation.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh. Radio 1.
Now, amongst your list of leadership communication behaviors, there's one that's really simple to understand, but sometimes difficult to execute. You say leaders have to understand the 80-20 rule. What's the 80-20 rule?
So the 80-20 rule is actually Pareto's principle, and it says that in a day, a leader needs to focus on the 20 most important. He needs to spend 20% of his time on the things that he thinks are really not very important, and 80% of his time needs to be spent on the top 3 things that are on his plate, which are going to add the maximum value to his organization. And what we do is that we tend to get ourselves busy in the day with those small little 100 things which are actually not so important. However, if we begin to spend 80% of our time on the most important tasks which will add high value to the organization, is when actually we are able to do the best in our work. But we actually end up doing the reverse, and we say that, oh my God, I don't have time to complete all the things on my to-do list today. But hey, look at your to-do list today. Look at the top 10 things that you have, and there will only be 3 things in that, actually, which will be the most important. And if you begin to identify those correctly, and they are also the things that you are most afraid of, you're also looking at those things as being the ones which you are actually procrastinating on. And successful people and leaders always focus on the top 3 things which add value to the organization.
Another thing which is of personal interest to me is the fact that you talk about reacting versus responding.
Yes.
Most people are just reacting. You have conversations with friends, with family, with people at work. There's just an instantaneous reaction, and sometimes that's not very cool.
Right. So whenever you are reacting, it is when you are actually not in control, and the other person is controlling you, and bases your own beliefs, your own prejudices, you are reacting to the person. We always want to move to a place where we are able to respond to a person. When we are responding to a person is when we are in control. We don't need to react to him in a manner in which we are criticizing him, we are rejecting the information that we are getting from him. And the minute we feel more responsible for who we are, and we feel we are more in control, is when we are actually able to take our time and respond in a manner which is in sync with the way we believe.
So you're saying even if you hear something disturbing at work or in your personal life, you should take a little bit of time.
Absolutely.
And say, I'll get back to you.
Yes,
let me think about this.
It's very good. A pause is very good. Just developing the skill to say no to people. So many people struggle with this. They end up saying yes to everything. They have so much on their plate and they're not able to do it. But there are very nice ways in which you can actually tell the person that, hey, let me get back to you with that. I'm currently focusing on something that is more aligned to my KRAs, and I'll get back to you on whether I can do it or not. Your integrity comes into play when at the end of the day or after an hour or two, you actually find the courage to go back to that person and tell him, I don't think I'm the right person. I don't think I have the time to do this right now. May I suggest that you ask X to do it? And things will be better for you then.
Okay, it's wrap-up time. So just run us through the essentials again. What is the workshop? Where is it? The dates? And how can people register? I know there are a few seats left.
So the workshop is help yourself enhance your communication skills, because you cannot hire somebody else to do your push-ups. You have to do them yourself. And the dates is this weekend, 24th and 25th of February at Hotel Marine Plaza. It starts in the morning at 10 and we should be done by the end of the day between 5. And you can register on my website, thecoach.co.in, or you can also go to my Facebook page, The Coach, and register from there.
It's actually @Saloni the Coach. Yeah. So you'll find Saloni Suri, and The Coach is the page. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for having me, Hrishikesh.
Pink.
Good
it's
fun.
pink. It's Blow Me One Last Kiss. My name is Hrishikesh. We're back with People United, India United.